Welcome everyone to this event that we celebrate every year in Richmond, where we celebrate our diversity and we raise flags to tell about it. And I want to start off by telling you a little story. When we did our marketing and branding study several years ago, there was a very detailed market study component of it. And what our consultants did, they asked people both in Richmond and outside of Richmond, they asked them, what they thought about Richmond, what their perceptions were. And, there were good, there were bad, and there were good. The bad perceptions, people talked about, crime and blight and poverty and pollution and things like that. And on the positive side, they talked about Richmond's beautiful shoreline and our national park and the Bay Trail and things like that. But one thing that came out of it is, in questions when people were asked if they would consider moving to Richmond or living in Richmond, one of the really strong things that came out of it was how people were attracted to the diversity in our city. They said, no matter what ethnicity they were or whatever, they all said, Richmond is a place I feel I could move to and there would be people like me there. And so the point of that is that, diversity is not, something, it's not just a feel good thing. It's not just a social thing, but it's good business. And that's something that we've tried to trade on. It's something that brings people to our city, and it's something we can be proud of. So I'm always really excited every year to participate in this. This is kind of a new way of participating in it, but we're doing a lot of things in a new way now. So at this point, I will turn it over to our city manager, Laura Snideman.
Great. Well, thank you, Mayor, and thank you everyone who has helped make this happen today. Given COVID, given the national news, it is even more important to celebrate moments like this. And I'm really glad that it is happening even in a different way, and that I've been asked to be a part of it. As the mayor was mentioning, Richmond is well known for its diversity. And when I was looking at becoming a city manager again and looking at the opportunity in Richmond, the diversity was absolutely one of the things that attracted me to being here, because more diversity means a stronger community. And community and working in local governments is part of the motivation for me doing the work that I do. Just like when you're creating art, whether it be a painting, when you have canvas and paint, or a sculpture that's made out of metal and bright lights, or even pottery, which starts out as just clay and glaze. When you combine those things together, you end up with something that is much more in total than the sum of its parts. And so I believe that's what diversity adds to a community. It creates that richness and that strength that we can all benefit from. So I appreciate this event and I look forward to many more of them.
So I think the next person up is Councilmember Demnlus Johnson.
So, I most definitely, this is beautiful. I want to start off by thanking the Godfather, Gerald Hatchard, and the NBA for putting together a culturally enriching and family-friendly event year after year, and that is the Juneteenth event. And I think it's beautiful, it's been mentioned that this is being done in a new way. And I think it's beautiful that we still found a way to carry out this important flag-raising event amidst the shelter in place. 155 years ago in 1865, 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation and the rebel uprising, Union soldiers rode into Texas and ensured the freedom of enslaved Africans. And then nearly 100 years ago this weekend, over 300 African Americans were killed in the self-sufficient African American neighborhood in Tulsa, Oklahoma, known as Black Wall Street. And then over 50 years ago, Marsha P. Johnson threw the first brick after a Black butchwoman named De Rivera was being violently detained and started what is known as the Stonewall Rebellion. And today, as we raise these flags in celebration of these freedom movements that has brought our country closer to its goals, may it also be done in honor of those who are still on the front lines today, pushing, marching, advocating, and going above and beyond to make sure that no one is free until we're all free. So I just thank you all for putting this together and having me as one of the speakers.
And next in line is Cesar Zepeda.
Well, thank you. I echo Councilmember Johnson's sentiment there. You stole some of my thunder, but yes, we're all on the same page, right? It's all about the same page. And that's the beautiful thing that brings us together today, that we're all one diverse community, as the mayor said, and the struggles of one are the struggles of all. And we all have this rich history that has brought us here today. All of our riots for the past few years. I want to start off again with thanking the city of Richmond for doing this for the past few years and not having to have the community beg and struggle to get this going. It's happening every year. Thank you to the Richmond River Pride Board and to all of our allies and supporters for the past few years. We've been around for 6 years. This year we'll be celebrating our 6th anniversary. As we come together to celebrate not just what makes us different, but is more of what makes us the same. In these difficult times around the country, it is imperative that more than ever that we stand together as one community. As Councilmember Johnson was mentioning, the LGBTQI community, and I believe I can also speak for the Latino community, we stand together in solidarity with our Black brothers and sisters, especially during these really difficult times in our country. And I also want to mention out there, Richmond Pride is not canceled. It is just going to be looking a little different this year. We will not be at the park. We are going virtual. So we are having a virtual Pride event June 14th. More information will be posted out there, but I hope that everyone's able to join us. Again, Pride is not canceled. We will continue going forward and celebrating for our LGBTQI community, but also standing side by side with our other communities out there because we are all of them. Within the LGBTQI community, you see Black, Latino, Asian, white, you see Jews, you see Christians, you see a little bit of everybody in our community, and we want to celebrate our diverse history and diverse richness here in Richmond. So thank you all for being part of this. I look forward to seeing the flag be raised. So thank you.
Selene Calderon from the Latina Center.
Thank you very much. It's a great honor to be here today and to have been invited to commemorate Immigrant Heritage Month. This is something that our nation started celebrating since 2014. And honestly, it is a time for everyone across the nation, including folks in our city, to really recognize how a lot of our American families originally come from other countries, have very diverse and very rich backgrounds. And there are very different immigrant groups within the city of Richmond, and they contribute so much to the growth of our community. And at the end of the day, Richmond is comprised of our history as a united people. And I think, like, growing up in Richmond, one of the things I loved most was being able to see just so many different groups of people, hearing so many different languages. And I think immigrants in any city and immigrants across the nation add so much vibrant culture. There's so much history, there's traditions, there's art, and there's cuisine, there's leadership that we're seeing, especially in times like these. Family values are, you know, so at the core of so many different cultures. There's innovation and businesses. I think, like, one of the key spaces within Richmond is 23rd Street, where you get to see so many different types of businesses opened by folks that look just like us. And I think the strength of the city and what it looks like today wouldn't be what it is if it wasn't for our immigrant community members. And I think this month, and because it's happening in a time that is so difficult with so much happening, and, you know, where we need to come together as a people, as the previous speakers have mentioned, you know, it is a time for us to get together with loved ones and share stories, to really talk about the experiences that brought us to this moment and where we can go from here. You know, what is it that we all have in common rather than what are the differences that we have? And I think by sharing stories, you know, whether it is that you know your own history or whether you have to talk to the elders in your family, like sharing those stories is going to connect you to your culture. It's going to connect you to your people and to others around you and strengthen the bonds that you already have. Right now, with everything happening, I think myself and folks at the Latina Center want to make sure that the needs of our citizens are covered. And if you are someone who only speaks Spanish and you don't have resources, please reach out to the Latina Center. We're always here and available, you know, to support folks and connecting you to the resources you need. I think it's also very important right now with everything happening to not forget the essential things that we also need to complete for the future. One of them being the census. I think it's very important, especially in a time like this, for everyone to be counted. And that does not matter if you are, you know, if you don't have a legal status or not, like whether you live in a home or not, like it's very important that we're all represented in the count. And I'll send it back to you, Mr. Mayor Butt.
Okay, thank you very much. And now are you guys ready for the main event? Melvin Thomas, are you prepared to raise the flags? Looks like the flags are up there. Good show, everyone. Thank you for participating. And remember that in Richmond, our strength is in our diversity. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.